Hey guys, I hope you all are doing spectacular. This is one of my first videos, so pardon me for my mistakes. Today I'm going to talk about Black Knight, about his origins, his superpowers, and so on. Now before I start, let me tell you there are 4 iterations of Black Knight, the first one being the original Black Knight Sir Percy of Scandia, who wielded both the Ebony Blade and Excalibur. The second one is the evil supervillain Black Knight, Nathan Garrett, a descendant of Sir Percy, who was a longtime foe of Iron Man. The third one is Dane Whitman, who is also the descendant of the original Black Knight Sir Percy and the nephew of Nathan Garrett. There's also a fourth one named Augustin Dulac. He is not related to the other Black Knights, but he is a descendant of Sir Lancelot, who was one of King Arthur's Knights of the Round Table. Now King Arthur is related to the original Black Knight. We're gonna talk about that in a different video. There's too much to catch on for you, so that's why we're only gonna talk about Dane Whitman in this video, since he is currently the main Black Knight and also featured in MCU. We're gonna talk about the other ones later in a different video. So let's get started. So we got to see Dane Whitman's first appearance in Avengers issue 47, published in December of 1967. In that issue, we see him trying to make contact with interstellar intelligent species by sending a special type of signal in outer space. Since the signal was magnetic, our very old favorite villain Magneto intercepted the signal. He was exiled to another planet by the character called the Stranger. You can see that storyline in X-Men Volume 1, issue 11 from 1965. He wanted to come back to Earth and restart his goal for mutant domination, so he followed the signal back to Earth along with Toad and came in the castle Dane was working on. On the other hand, Dane Whitman's assistant scientist Norris decided to betray him to take all the credit for the scientific breakthrough he was going to make. So Dane was unconscious, then Magneto came, confronted Norris, he got unconscious too, then they were taken to the dungeon. After a while later in the Avengers issue 48, Dane escaped from the dungeons by going through secret passage in the castle, while Magneto captured Wanda and Pietro. While escaping, he recalls a vow he made, which we can see in a flashback that his uncle Nathan Garrett made to him on his deathbed. In the comic Tales of Suspense issue 73, we saw Iron Man fighting Nathan Garrett, which in the end brought Iron Man victorious and left the evil Black Knight in a brutal condition falling from sky. He then called Dane from the research center he works in, called Willowton, then asks specifically for Dane. After Dane arrives, he reveals that he was the evil supervillain Black Knight and asks Dane to redeem him by using the science and research Nathan had for the good, as he used them for evil. Then he passes away. After the flashback, we see Dane stumbling upon the Ebony Blade and Nathan's beam shooting lands. He then says in a dramatic way, "The Black Knight shall live again," not letting his uncle's sciences stay buried with him. He then creates a second mutant horse like the one of his uncle and names it Aragorn. He dons the Black Knight armor and goes to the Avengers to inform them about Wanda and Pietro's capture. Their first thing is the evil supervillain Black Knight, and then they have a huge fight, almost causing casualties, but eventually he convinces them that he is a good Black Knight by saving Goliath and Pym from falling. But they still kinda don't trust him, so he abandons them, and then he goes on his own to fight Magneto. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil the storyline anymore. If you wanna know what happens next in the story, just check out the Avengers issue 47 from 1967 and follow up from there. So now let's talk about his powers and abilities. Dane Whitman's Black Knight doesn't have any specific powers, but his abilities include being an expert swordsman, skilled martial artist, an expert horseman, and is somewhat familiar with magical knowledge. In the comics, he's a really gifted scientist, having master's degree in physics. He is proficient in a wide array of sciences and technologies, which includes genetic and mechanical engineering. Despite having affiliations with magic, he tries to approach everything with a scientific perspective rather than magic.
It's Athena. Athena.
Just Thena.
His original weapons included his uncle's power lance, but he currently wields the ebony blade as he did before. He had previously used a photon sword made by himself and the Sword of Light given to him by Lady of the Lake as her chosen representative on Earth. While using the ebony blade, he can be summoned to it through magic regardless of its location. He currently rides Strider, which also was a gift from the Lady of the Lake. Now you might be wondering, where the heck is Aragorn, his legendary mount? Well, he visited the 12th century for a brief time, and during his time there he gave away Aragorn to the Valkyrie known as Brunhilde. Now all of this history is from the comics. We haven't seen Dane Whitman from the MCU go through any of this scenario yet. In Eternals' post-credit scene, we see him trying to pick the ebony blade, but then he was interrupted by Blade the Living Vampire, played by Mahershala Ali, of course. Now how do we know that it was Blade the Living Vampire? It's because Eternals' film director Chloe Zhao confirmed it. And we are going to get a Blade movie soon, as confirmed by Kevin Feige from Comic-Con 2019. Till then, we just have to wait.
Your own hat, Mahershala. You did? What is that?
Moon Knight is also coming to Disney+, seeing that Blade is coming and Black Knight is here too, we might just get a magical team up between these three. We'll see and find out. By the way, my next video is about Moon Knight, so stay subscribed and click on the bell icon too to be notified. I'm also gonna make Bengali versions of my videos targeted to my country Bangladesh's audience, so you can ignore them if you get a notification with a Bengali title. But other than that, if it's English, it's good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did not, and if this video did not lead up to your expectations, then I sincerely apologize, because this is my first video basically, and I have a really crappy setup. Not sure if that was relevant. So I just hope that you pardon me. Let me know what other characters or storylines you want to know about next. I'm also going to upload DC content and Star Wars content and news related to all of these, so stay tuned and stay subscribed. I haven't made an outro yet, so peace, I guess.